Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel Prakashika. Today I have got a coding snippet which was asked in one of the interviews in NVIDIA and to demonstrate the concept break and continue. So we have a local variable here. Let me take a pen. Yeah. So we have a local variable which is declared and initialized here. X is initialized to 0 and this is the condition. This is the updation. We have the printf statement. All these statements come inside the for loop because we have opening and closing braces. Then we have continue and break. There is no braces here. That means it's a single statement. So if there is no braces, it always means inside if block or for loop block or any loop block there's only one single statement, and x plus plus is neither inside if nor inside break. It is inside for loop. Okay, now we might be knowing that continue and break how they work. So continue skips all the statements that is written below that, so whether those statements are a part of that block or not. See, this continue inside this if condition, if it is true, there is only one statement continue. If there were multiple statements here, statement 1, statement 2 here inside this block, even those would have been skipped, and anything written below that which is not part of that block also skipped, and it goes back to the loop to check the condition. So it basically jumps to the next iteration, skipping all the statements below that, whether those statements are a part of that block or they're not inside that block. Also, what will break do, whatever statements, so say there were statements 3 and statements 4 inside this else block, those will also be skipped. So continue and break, it will skip all the statements that are written below that, whether they're part of that block or not. But continue will skip to the next iteration. Here it will go for condition checking, sorry, updation and then condition checking, because it's a for loop. Whereas break will come out of the loop itself. If there is a nested loop, continue and break work with the nearest loop. Here we have something called as unreachable code. Unreachable code, as an engineer, as a good software engineer, you should never write a code which is not reachable, because you cannot test it, and the coverage results of the software program that you have written will not be 100%. Why not 100%? Because you can never reach this code through any test cases that you simulate, so you should never write an unreachable or a dead code. So what is the answer to this? The answer or the output of this code is 0 1 2 3 4 5. Why do we have spaces here between the numbers? Because if we see in the printf statement, there is a space. It is not because we have used slash t or slash n. While printing itself, the code is constructed such that after you print x value in integer, give some space. So next iteration there will be some space. Now, how do we analyze whenever we have break, continue? Sorry, whenever we have break and continue, it is always better whenever you are dealing with questions like this and you want to analyze in placements, put a table, okay, and analyze. For the first iteration, what is the x value? It is initialization 0, and what is the condition? The condition is x less than 10. So print x, what x is the value 0. So then it is checking if x is less than 5, that is again true, continue. Then it will go for loop updation, x plus plus, so 0 plus 1. In the next iteration it will be 1. See, we use break in switch case also, and continue and break should always be used with the near, it works with the loop. We are using inside if is just a condition, usually it will be some loop that is associated, and we have some condition inside that, only we will use continue or break. That doesn't mean we can use continue and break with if conditions. Basically decisional statements, they are used inside if, which is inside one loop. If it's just a condition, we have to always use continue and break with loop, and when there are nested loop inside one more loop, it will work with the nearest loop. We also use break in switch case. Now for the next iteration, what is the value of x? It is 1. 1 is less than 10, correct? So it will print x value is 1, and next checks the condition, 1 is less than 5, true. Next next it will update 1 plus 1. So for the next iteration it is 2. Again 2 is less than 10 and it prints 2, and then checks 2 is less than 5 true, then updates the for loop x plus plus 2 plus 1. Next iteration the value of x is 3, updates the checks the condition. After updating it, value is 3, checks the condition 3 is less than 10, then prints 3, 3 is again less than 5. Next updates the for loop x, 3 plus 1. So for the next iteration after updation it is 4, 4 is less than 4 is less than 10, prints 4 and checks 4 is less than 5. X plus plus, we have x plus plus inside loop, but we are never reaching that because we are going to the continue statement. It will skip all the statements, it will directly jump to the next iteration, where we have updation in the for loop. 4 plus 1 for the next iteration, x is 5, checks the condition, sorry 5 is less than or equal to 10 true, prints x which is nothing but 5, then checks the condition inside the for loop which is x less than 5. So 5 less than 5 is false. If it is false, what was the code? If it is false, it is break. So it comes outside the loop itself. So outside the, sorry, outside the loop, outside the loop what was the value when it just came out? It is x is equal to 5, right? On a similar lines, in order to make sure that you are well versed with continue and break, we have a similar coding question for the quiz, where the condition everything is same but we have a plus plus. So what you can try to do is you analyze by putting a table, analyze if there is any dead code, why we should not be using dead code, and what is the value that is printed within the for loop for x, and what is the value when it comes out of the loop, what is the recent most value of x and a in memory. This is what you can analyze. You can also try it out on Turbo C or any online compiler. In fact, when you try it on Turbo C, uh, for our code, we saw that this is an unreachable code. It will throw us a warning, not an error, which you might not observe on the online compilers. So I will execute Turbo C and show you. So open Turbo C. So I will open in small screen mode itself. I will not open the full screen. I've already typed the program and I've saved it. So go to file, open, and I have saved it as program 17.c. I'll open it and then I'll compile. See, when it compiles, it shows warning. So you can press any key to do that, unreachable code or dead code. So that warning you can ignore to see the output. Then run is Alt F9 and Control F9, compile and run. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why did I get it as no space? Because when I'm typing here, I didn't give any space here. But in our coding question, we had this space. So if you give one space here, so it will come. Then you can quit. Yes. So with this, what did we actually learn? We actually learned how continue and break works. What do we mean by dead code or unreachable code, and why we should never write such a code? And given any looping with and without break or continue, how do we analyze it in placement where we are not supposed to run and get the output? We have to analyze what is the output. You put a tabular column and analyze. Try out this question so that you'll be more familiar with break and continue. It is very much similar to what we have discussed, just that this line is extra. So what is the recent value of x and a when it comes out of memory? Yep. See you in the next video. Thank you.